or baseball? Black History Month or baseball?
Baseball.
Baseball over Black History Month?
Baseball.
Why are you choosing that? What about black people?
Because because I don't like black people.
Damn, bro, it's Black History Month, bro.
Well, it's not my fault. God told me to say that.
Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Kodesh. Double honors the elders, apostles, a great millstone. The elders, a great millstone. Of course, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, the sincere ones within this truth. So yeah, I just seen this video. You had this Edomite kid. And who's Esau? Who's the Edomite? It's a so-called white man. So-called white man. Of course, we know not all people with their parents, not all people with this skin color of so-called white man is the Edomite. But we know predominantly the so-called white man are the Edomites. Most are the Edomites, man. Are Edomites. Because again, you got many Israelites who have their parents of an Edomite. They might have the parents of an Edomite, but what? They got spirit of an Israelite. And what does that mean to have a spirit of an Israelite? That means that the seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So what? Our people were scattered amongst the other nations. Read Deuteronomy 28 and 64. That was one of the curses the Lord put upon us. So what happens when you get scattered amongst the other nations, And what? And you start to have the heathen woman of that same country. Further down each generation, if your son has, a heathen woman, and then his son has a heathen woman, then his son has a heathen woman, of course, eventually, the descendant of that initial Israelite man will look like the heathen of that same country. But what? We can tell, again, predominantly most so-called white men are Edomites. But what? Even the way we actually can confirm is by how they speak. What comes out of their mouth. How they move, how they operate. Esau is the physical counterpart as a spiritual demon of the spiritual demon Satan. So we know, so we know how they're gonna act. We know this devil. When I say devil, I'm speaking about Esau. He's the most wicked man on the planet Earth, man. And we see how he's gotten down in history. From whether it be in the scriptures, whether it be, even now, slavery. What they did onto the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans and Latinos. The oppression he does, what he does within this world currently pollutes, pollutes the food on purpose, deliberately, literally. He puts a whole bunch of propaganda and lies within the media to deceive. We know this man's a devil. Read Job. Job 9 and 24. Yeah, Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? Yeah, so the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This right now, Esau is living in his blessing. What was one of his blessings? That he would rule by the sword. So who's ruling by the sword? And what's a modern day sword? Obviously, it's the military, missiles, weapons. These modern day weapons. That's a modern day sword. What it says, Esau will rule by the sword. And who's the top guy on the planet Earth right now? Concerning the military, financially. And basically everything above man. Who's the top man on the planet Earth right now? Again, in wealth and military, Esau, so-called white man, is he not? It says, if not, where and who is he? So if this isn't the man, then who is he? It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Yeah, because, he masked the Israelite image. We know the Lord is a so-called black man. He literally has the appearance of a so-called black man. Now, he doesn't have a, tan, Middle Eastern tan, like these guys like to say. Now, he was, read Revelation 1:14 through 15. It speaks to how, he had feet like unto burnt or brass, as if a burn in a furnace. In other words, burnt brass. And when you look up of an image of burnt brass, it's very dark. And then if you look up iconoclasm, what is that? He literally destroyed all the original images and put up his own images in its place. We see all the fabrication he does to the ancient artifacts. Shave off the nose, cut around the head. Make it seem like, this is how we found it. He finds coins. Because a lot of the Israelite currency had, it might have had the face of a king, one of the kings on the coin. And this devil will completely change it up so it resembles Edomite features. And let's give real quick Genesis 27:38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Yeah, because when you read in this the whole chapter, in this chapter, Genesis 27, obviously Jacob gives, Isaac gives Jacob, what was supposed to be Esau's blessing, because the scriptures say how Esau supplanted Jacob. And when you look up the definition of Jacob, it literally means supplanter. So that's a nomen omen. And the Lord at the end of the day set it up that way. So, Esau didn't receive the blessing, and for Jacob to supplant Esau, and to take the blessing that Isaac, was initially going to give Esau. And the Lord controlled at the end of the day, man. If the Lord wanted Esau to have the blessing, the Lord would have made it happen, but he didn't, obviously. As the scriptures say, the Lord hated Esau. The scriptures say, Romans 9 and 12, I believe, says, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. But Romans 9 and 12. It's like Romans 9 and 13. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. It goes to show you the Lord has people that he loves. The Lord has a people that he loves, and the Lord has people that he hates. Esau is one of the people that the Lord hates. So yeah, the Lord has hate. The Lord has something that he hates. He doesn't love, everything. The Lord hates. As the Lord loves certain things, the Lord hates certain things. It says, verse 39 of Genesis 27, it says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. So Isaac continues to give Isaac continues to give Esau his blessing. Verse 40, and by thy sword thou shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Yeah, and what? And by thy sword thou shalt live. And again, Esau is ruling by the sword. What's a modern day sword? Again, the military. These weapons, these highly advanced weapons that Esau has. Our people, first of all, we didn't even have a nation we actually ruling. But the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos. And someone might say, oh, well, aren't the Latinos, don't they have their own countries? Well, those aren't even ran. those literally aren't even ran, man, by those people in those lands. Man, Esau got influence and power over those nations as well. He got leaders who are set up running those nations, man. So all of our people are oppressed. So-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, man. We're all oppressed within the society, within this world. We don't have our own nation like we once had. So what? Esau, again, he's literally the top guy on the planet Earth. Because of what? His weapons and his military. It says, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from thy neck. Yeah, because we're actually ruling over Esau. What? That's why Esau calls the dark ages, because that was a time where the Israelites were ruling, and that was a time when he wasn't ruling. The dark ages is really a new term. Esau created. And what? Once the Renaissance period came, Esau obviously called it the Renaissance period, because what did Renaissance mean? Rebirth. So what? Now, him calling the Renaissance period symbolizes, the earth getting up, the earth being rebirth. Like the earth was in a dead state when he wasn't ruling. And that shows you that's a pride of this devil. So it says, verse 41 of Genesis chapter 27, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. So there you have it. It says what? And Jacob hated Esau because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And this devil, again, the so-called white man, still shows us that same hate even until this day. Well, you got shit like, Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery, blah, blah, blah. You got other things like, MLK, United. Nah, man, Esau, all that was for, first of all, slavery was never abolished. Slavery was just, I guess you can say, modified. We're now corporate slaves. We're slaves under the system. We got these taxes we got to pay. We got to work these jobs that are literally completely unbalanced. Our lives are literally set up just to work. Well, one of the Rockefellers said that, they don't want a nation of thinkers. They want a nation of workers. So what? They set it up where you have to work, for a very long time each day so that you can have enough. But hey, back then, we weren't working for damn 10 hours a day. I remember the brother Yacoba within the camp. He even said, we were working around 4 hours, maybe 5, 4, 3 to 5 hours each day. With our cattle and animals, and because we had our own land back in the day. We didn't work 10 hours, 12-hour shifts. So what? It says that Esau hated Jacob because of the father, or because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So again, Esau hated Jacob. As that video I showed you, he said, that kid said, I hate black people. And what, his folks in the background were laughing. Hey, cause what? Hey, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. That, hey, those men taught him, taught their son how to, to hate black people. And even, let's say that they didn't. Hey, that kid will still have hate for black people in his heart. Why? Because the Lord set him up that way. The Lord set up Esau to hate Jacob. And then what? Esau, when Isaac died, Esau waited for Isaac to die to come after Jacob, to kill Jacob. So let's get Ezekiel 35:5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. And when you go to verse 3, it says, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir. Well, when you get Mount Seir, in the Hebrew, it's a Hebrew word, Sha'ayar. It says what? It's a place. It says, patriarch are the Horites, the inhabitants of Edom, before the descendants of Esau, the Edomites. The land of Edom, south of the Dead Sea, a mountain range in Edom extending from the Dead Sea to the Atlantic Gulf. Yeah, the Lord can do that sometimes. He can, within the scriptures, the Lord can reference onto certain nations with a different name. He might use their city, one of their cities, or, provinces or whatever. But we know Mount Seir is obviously speaking about the Edomites because it's located within Edom. So it says what? Verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. So this is speaking about Esau. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that the iniquity had an end. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we're seeing the Israelites rise up. Read Revelation 11. It speaks to you how the Israelites will rise up. And this devil will be scared. And the other nations will be scared as well. And, mainly the elect of the nation Israel are rising up. But you even got, Jake waking up, man, to their heritage. Hey, at the end of the day, a lot of Israelites are waking up to their heritage, man. This devil is scared. And the Lord's about to make his return. Esau knows the Lord is near. He's seeing the chariots in the sky. He knows, he obviously got his high, so-called high-level scholars, who study the Bible. They know, that they don't know everything like the true prophets know, which we believe to be the men in great millstone. We know they're real good at history. They understand some prophecies. And at the end of the day, Esau knows what's, really about to happen. But what, he likes to push lies and, just, stir away the truth. But what? Yahushua is about to make his return. Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, which Yahushua is going to come back to save only his people, which is the nation of Israel. Esau knows that. And more importantly, more specifically, the elect of the nation of Israel. Because again, read Zechariah 13:8-9. You got a 2/3 of the nation of Israel, which will be destroyed and cut off because of their disobedience towards the Lord. And you got a 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which will be saved. So Esau knows Yahweh's return is near, but what he's putting more hell, he's putting more affliction on the Israelites, man. You know, he's not trying to pull back. He has to send us back to our land. You know, because he got fucking devils in our land right now. These 1948ers are in our land. These Jays, so-called Jays. You know what I mean by that? He got these random, perverse, you know, wicked people in our land right now. And they're what? What are they doing? They're calling themselves the children of the Lord. The chosen people of the Lord. Which that's completely ironic to the stuff they be doing. You know, they're literally have these alphabet parades. You know what I mean by that? These pink parades in that city. Making kosher pork. So-called kosher pork. You know, doing oral circumcision on their newborns. We know those aren't the people, man. But what? Again, you know, the iniquity at an end. Esau doesn't care. He's speeding up and, you know, putting more affliction on us. Iniquity on us, man. He's trying even harder to cut us off from being a nation. Again, read Psalm 83. Speaks to you how Esau's confederate with these other countries to try to kill off the nation of Israel, the real nation of Israel, man, the Israelites. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Because this devil, he loves blood, man. You know, you don't think... Let me play this video again.
Black History Month or baseball?
Baseball.
Baseball over Black History Month?
Baseball.
Why are you choosing that? What about black people?
Because I don't like black people.
Damn, bro, it's Black History Month, bro.
Well, it's not my fault. God told me to say that.
So there you have it. The Lord, hey, you know, hey, at the end of the day, Esau was just being straight up honest. You know, if you ask any Edomite, and they're completely honest with you, that's exactly what they're going to say. I hate black people. And when he says black people, he's obviously referring to the so-called Negroes, which is what? The nation, the so-called Negroes, which is the southern kingdom. Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. You know, those tribes of the nation of Israel. And then you got the northern kingdom, which consists of the so-called Native American Latinos. And Esau hates the so-called Native Americans and Latinos as well. That's why you see what we has done to our people, man. Sirach 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for as like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Yeah, and this command unto us, man, never trust our enemies. Because this kid right here tells you what he really feels, man, about you Jakes, about our people. You know, and if you ask him, okay, what do you feel about Native Americans and Latinos? He would have said the same thing. Oh yeah, the same thing. I don't like those people. And what? Like it says right here, never trust thine enemy. And even King David himself said that he hates, those who hate the Lord. King David hates, the same people. The ones who hate the Lord, King David hates. So even King David hated, man. And would you not hate your enemy? Never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You got some Jakes who are, trying to find love for Esau. They want to love Esau. But hey, these devils fucking hate, you so-called black people, man. You know, no matter how much lies or propaganda he puts in the media, because at the end of the day, the best enemy is one who you know, the best enemy is one who doesn't let his opponent know that, hey, he's his enemy. You know, if you make your opponent think that you're his friend, you can easily, you know, backstab him and get him from behind. You know, hit him from behind, man. So that's exactly what Esau is doing. It says Romans 9:20. Nay, it says actually 19. It says, thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Verse 21, hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? Yeah, so at the end of the day, the Lord has everything set up how it's supposed to be. The Lord got set up who's going to be saved. The Lord got set up who's going to be destroyed. The Lord got set up who's going to be the devil, the wicked of the earth. And the Lord has set up who's going to be the righteous of the earth. So we know this devil, Esau, was literally hardwired to hate our people, to be the enemies of the Israelites. So really, it's not Esau's doing why he hates, you know, the so-called, or the Israelites. That's the Lord's doing. The Lord created Esau, man, to hate us. So again, you know, this one ended right there. Esau showed, hey, this kid speaking with 100% honesty shows you what Esau, man, as a whole, or every single Edomite, man, has the same mindset. They hate you. You know, they hate Israel. But I just want to bring that up real quick. Lord willing, brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kagwadash, Brakathum.